So you probably recognise, I'm here, there you go. So you probably recognise that tree from the beginning of last week's vlog. That is what I said was Charlie's tree. And I said at the time as well that there's not much alternative options than the view which a lot of people have taken before, including Charlie Way and Joe Cornish, if I'm not mistaken. However, I've approached it and there is quite some nice limestone formations. I've just been playing around with that. I'm not here intentionally to photograph that tree. I'm here for the purpose of going back to the tree, the second tree you saw in my last vlog, because I feel that I could improve it. If I'm honest, I just missed the focus. The foreground was just out of focus for the shot that I wanted. If you remember, I showed a few shots, some more wider angle shots, but this time I want to return and get a bit closer up to the foreground. So that's what I'm doing now, and then I'm going to head back on the road and head up to a new place in the Yorkshire Dales, and that is Dentdale. I thought, I'm a Yorkshireman, and Yorkshire is the best county in the whole world, so why not spend more time here? And I'm blessed again, a nice bit of low-lying cloud fog, which is always good. So it'll be interesting what this image looks like, but it seems to be lifting, so best get a jog on. Morning! Oh. There we are. So this is it. That's the tree anyway. I just want to find the limestone that I saw last week. Oh. The fog's slowly lifting. You can just see Ribblehead Viaduct in the background. It's getting clearer and clearer. Right. So I did find what had caught my eye last week. What I liked was this pattern here to the right of the grass. I liked the repetition about it. The problem I had was getting acceptable sharpness with the angle I wanted for the composition to work. I had to get fairly close up, which impacted what I could get sharp. Ideally a lens around 16mm would have been better. These other shapes also caught my eye, again with the repetition of the diagonal lines, which then led the eye up to the tree. Reviewing the images, however, I didn't really manage to come away with what I wanted. Did I also mention the rain? Yeah, familiar territory. Right, I'm going to pack up, get back to my car and head to my new destination. No idea what I'm doing. I'm heading north towards Dent, so I'm in Dentdale, but it's one of those times where I found myself driving around just looking for something out the window, not really finding anything at all. So I thought I pull up, I'm next to a big bridge, like viaduct. There's a bit of a woodland, so I'm going to see if anything there takes me fancy. Not got a clue. So rather than head to the woods, I've opted to head up into open moorland just to see what grabs my attention looking down onto the landscape. I'll be honest, I'm quite limited for choice. The wind is picking up as well. I'm quite limited for choice. However, there is something which has caught my attention, and it's small. I say small. From here it's small. There's a copse of trees on the horizon, and I'm just set up here waiting for the optimum moment. Telephoto 7200 is on tripod as well rather than handheld. What I do, or I tend to do these days, the only reason I use a tripod is if I find a composition I like and I feel that it will work better if I wait for the optimum conditions, and in this case there's the rolling clouds, low-lying clouds, and just waiting for that moment where it just feels best. Ideally, what I want to do is wait where the clouds are quite broken up. I position the trees on the lower quarter of the frame, and that will allow me some space to play around with the details in the cloud, because it's all about the mood. So yeah, I think this works. To be honest, I'm not spoilt for choice, but yeah, the trees give a nice sense of scale, and because I've left quite a lot of space above the trees, as I said before, it gives me options to play around with that in post. So rather than head back to where I'm parked and into that woodland, I thought I'd venture down to this stream. It attracted me, the sound of it attracted me. And then I found this nicely shaped tree going on. So lovely, circular movements going on. Let's make sure there's a bit of separation there. So you've got branches here veering off in different directions. You see the sky line there. I had to compose and be careful just to try and minimise that in the frame. Just I love how it bends round as well. Your stream coming in from a diagonal. And it's good just to vary your style of photography. And that's exactly what I've done. I'm a bit attacked by midges, but you know. So the 24 to 105 is on. And I've gone in, what, about 70 mil, and that's basically what I've framed up there. Just to ensure I've got the bulk of the shapes in the frame, and you see there, to move around slightly just to get a bit of separation there so the shapes work. Nice mood going on there, that cloud. That keeps grabbing my eye. Basically it's an oak with an old barn. I can't find any separation between the barn and the tree, so I've moved on. I mentioned earlier that the only times I use a tripod when I've found a composition, when I fine tune it, and just want to wait for the optimum moment. Back then, the last shot, the last footage I showed you, I was using a tripod, and it wasn't really a composition where I was waiting for the optimum moment. So the other occasions I like to use a tripod is when I'm videoing. and showing you what's going on in the scene. Right, okay, so I'm gonna head back. But yeah, it is a bit of a scouting trip, but the thing is, I do enjoy these scouting trips. I always like to come away with something as well. It's all about the love of photography, and I just love the art of finding things in the open landscape and putting them into position, making a nice composition out of them. That's what I love about the photography. Right, I'm rambling on, let's go. I'm back at this little woodland spot, but access to it is not granted, as you would put it. I could dive over there and get a face full of nettles, but I really don't fancy that. Don't fancy that at all. I'm going to get back in the car and head on the road. So it's turning out to be a bit of a road trip, just change gear. Eyes firmly on the road. It's not that busy, so quite alright. But yeah, it's good to find new locations. Yorkshire Dales is such a big place where I just feel like I'm limiting myself. I'm going to the same places. There is a reason for that, to be honest, and that's because I'm after finalising a project. Oh, boy races. So yeah, I was specifically going to that certain spot to getting the limestone features on the lone tree. But no, it's good to go to new locations, just tick them off, decide whether it's worth returning or not. Back there, a mixed bag really, but now I'm back on the road heading to Ingleton, and there's lots of mood still in the sky. So I was saying before, it's fairly important to expand your mind and go to different locations, because if you're always returning to the same one, you just get transfixed and you can exhaust the place, can't you? Just seems to get tired of the place. So I've returned to my favourite location, heading on towards Ingleton. I've got a project to finish, and I've located a tree which I don't believe I photographed before. So I've searched high and low for some nice foreground interest involving the nice shapes of the limestone. So I'm set up here. Let me just show you. Portrait orientation. And look at that there. That shape there. Nice circular there, and it's leading you on the tree. And the tree is dipping to the left. It nicely fills the gap, the side of Ingleborough. So I finished the morning as I started it, amongst the limestone and lone trees. Another excellent session of landscape photography, seeking somewhere new and falling back on familiar ground. I'll see you next time in the Lake District. Keep smiling. Bye bye for now.